well, welcome. Thank you for being here, and we're going to have a lot of fun. All right, so, are we keeping track of? Okay, so, everybody has a name tag. I saw that already. Let's do this next. Let's do a buzzer check. So if I can have all the ones buzzer. Good there. All the twos. Good there. All the threes. Good there. All the fours. Good there. Everybody can team A. Just A3. A3 is the big winner. Okay. All players, remember to wait until your buzzer number and letter is called before you answer a toss-up question. You really don't want to have to disqualify any teams or pull out any extra questions. So just make sure that you are processing that first and then giving your answer, and we'll all appreciate it and nobody will be sorry. Okay. Audience and players, make sure that all phones, computers, smartwatches are silent and put away. You just don't want to have any interruptions around that way. Audience, with that in mind, make sure that you are quiet during the duration of the match, except for score checks after 5, 10, 15, and 19 toss-ups, at which point you can cheer wildly for your favorite teams and players, and also your ones that aren't your favorite. Everybody has an Aurelia passage. Wonderful. I'm going to read the Aurelia passage, and you guys can ask me any questions about my pronunciation that you want after that. Aurelia. Cui urbs placebat, erat in Aegypto cum familia sua calida ingenti, et equum. Tridecim ludos magnos iois, in amphitheatro Alexandriae spectabant. Tandem, hic equus irratissimus, domum recurrere quibit. Ehu. Aurelia amplice dixit. You can read about the year 312 AD in history books, but can you tell us what the abbreviation OP period, CIT period mean?
Will you add similar emphases during, say, a passage, or was that just kind of an extra
Yes,
spice?
please.
That was just a
That
little
makes
extra
it so much
spice.
fun.
I would not expect the emphasis, but if the spirit moves me in the moment, I might emphasize. Any other questions here?
Yeah, could you say the word placebat?
Placebat.
Thank you.
Cool, so she's going to collect those. Players, remember to not do anything that might be construed as consultation during a toss-up. That can be as big as turning to your teammate and saying, this is you, got this. It can be as small as like a, just make sure that you're not communicating with each other during a toss-up question. If you know Morse code, you are out of luck because Emma's fluent in Morse code. So you cannot be tapping Morse code. All right. Same thing for coaches and audience members. Make sure that you're not trying to communicate with your players during toss-ups, or Boney for that matter. That can be anything from, hey, you got this. Next question, it's going to be whatever category. This is for you. And it can be anything as small as, you got this, you can do it. Right? Just make sure during the round, we're keeping the communication to a minimum. 0. Okay, cool. Let's see. All right, you can make challenges and ask questions about things as we go. Just make sure that you do it in between questions. And you don't interrupt a toss-up or a bonus question in progress to do that. Okay. Everybody, I'm supposed to remind you that the moderators have discretion to make rulings during this round. Glad we're getting everybody in before we start. Let's go ahead and get settled as quickly as we can. Thank you for being here to support your friends. Okay, are there any coaches in the room? Wonderful. Can I get the captains to raise their hands real quick? Just so I know who to kind of look at. All right. Does anybody have a question before we read a content warning and we get into the round? All right. In that case, we will get started with 2024 NJCL Certamen Intermediate Division Round 2 content warning. The study of the humanities often challenges us as we examine the full range of the human experience. This Certamen round contains mention of violence and sexual assault. As always, take care of yourselves and reach out to your chaperones and sponsors if you need to talk about the content or want to. Right. With that being said, let's get going. Toss-up number 1 for any player. What type of ceremony in ancient Rome is taking place when a person, having been touched by a vindicta in the presence of a praetor, is then allowed to wear a pillade?
A2.
The freeing of a slave.
Freeing of a slave to wear a pileus for the first time after earning their freedom. Bonus number 1 for Team A. How were the 3 parts of a freedman's new name typically determined when their former dominus was a male Roman citizen?
No.
Can you answer, please?
Okay, yeah, you want to say that? Just defer to
Defer to.
I think the pronomen is their own, pronomen is the slave's own pronomen. The nomen is the master's, the genitive of the master's nomen plus like ris, and then the cognomen is the master's cognomen.
I'm sorry, that's not correct. What we were looking for was the praenomen is the same as the praenomen of the dominus, or it's assigned by the dominus.
Okay.
Yeah. The nomen is the same as the dominus's nomen, and then the cognomen is the formerly enslaved person's name that they were called when they were enslaved.
That's okay.
And bonus number 2. How was the freedman's name determined when freed from a female domina who would have lacked a 3-part name?
It was for father's name. The same. No, I have to show the same procedure, but the same procedure, but with her father's name.
Can you spell that out for me?
So the nomen is determined either by the woman or it is the nomen of her father. That was the praenomen. The nomen is the nomen of the family, and the cognomen is the slave's own name from when he was a slave.
Yes, I'm going to take that. Yeah, stop. So praenomen and nomen taken from the dominus father, and the cognomen still, as this would say. So yes, that's 15 points on toss-up number 1 to Team A. Toss-up 2 for any player. Which Titaness spent 9 nights?
C1.
Mnemosiny?
Mnemosiny is correct. 9 nights with Zeus, personified memory, and was the mother of the Muses. Bonus 1 for Team C. Which of Mnemosiny's brothers was a Titan of the sun?
Helios?
I'm sorry, that's not correct. We're looking for Hyperion. And bonus number 2. By which other Titaness did Zeus father the hours and the fates?
Could you repeat?
By which other Titaness did Zeus father the hours and the fates?
Themis.
Themis is correct. So that's 15 points on toss-up number 2 to Team C. Toss-up 3 for any player. While she was fetching water from the spring of Comena, what figure of early Roman history was said to have betrayed the city?
A2.
Tarpeia.
Tarpeia is correct. Betrayed the city gates to the Sabines and was crushed by their shields. Bonus 1 for Team A. What Sabine commander later became the co-ruler of Rome with Romulus?
Titus Tatius.
Titus Tatius is correct. And bonus 2. What woman, who later became the wife of Romulus, was said to have halted the fighting between the Romans and the Sabines? Persilia is correct. So that's 20 points on toss-up 3 to Team A. Toss-up 4 for any player. Using the verb moneo, say in Latin, she was
A3.
So Wole, Bot, Monere.
I am sorry, that's not correct.
C4.
Monita. Oh, I'm sorry, that's not correct.
B4.
Monet B2.
I'm sorry, that's not correct. I could have taken Monita Est, not Monita Erat. I could have taken Moni Batur, not Moni Bitor. And I just needed she was warned. Was the rest of your question. Unfortunately, that's no points to any team on toss-up 4, but that is why we have toss-up 5 for any play. Listen carefully to the following passage, which I will read twice. As wealthy King Croesus and the wise Solon continue to discuss the happiest person in the world, then responde latine to the questions that follow. Postquam Solon agricolam felicissimum hominum appellavit, verba regem Croesum non delectabat. Rex vexatus, iterum rogavit. Quis autem est secundus felicitate? Solon respondit, Biton et Cleobis, quorum mater erat sacerdos. Postquam voves amissi erant, juvenes matrem ad templum tulerunt, et in somno mortui sunt. And I'll repeat. Postquam Solon agricolam felicissimum hominum appellavit, verba regem Croesum non delectabat. Rex vexatus, iterum rogavit. Quis autem est secundus felicitate? Solon respondit, Biton et Cleobis, quorum mater erat sacerdos. Postquam boves amissi erant, juvenes matrem ad templum tulerunt, et in somno mortui sunt. And the question, quis vexatur?
A4.
Rex Croesus.
Rex Croesus is correct. Quis vexatur verbis Solonis. Bonus 1 for Team A. Ad quem vocum ulebat mater ire.
Ad templum.
Ad templum is correct, and bonus 2. Cur juvenes non boves sacerdotem portabant.
Wait, yeah, but they would.
They were lost.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Always amici sunt.
Boves amici sunt is correct.
That's a point.
So that's 20 points on toss-up number 5 to Team A. And after 5 toss-ups, let's hear our score.
All right, it's early in the game, and Team A has 55 points, Team B is yet to score, and Team C has 15.
Applause.
All right, good job, team.
Everybody feeling okay? No major emergency problems? All right. In that case, we will continue with toss-up number 6 for any player. According to Book 4 of Ovid's Metamorphoses, which Greek hero was shooed away by Atlas, who feared?
C1.
Perseus?
Perseus is correct. Who feared a son of Jupiter would steal his golden apples, and repaid this in hospitality by using the head of Medusa to turn Atlas to stone. Bonus 1 for Team C. Which princess did Perseus save from a sea monster shortly after his encounter with Atlas?
Andromeda.
Andromeda is correct. And bonus 2. Which kingdom was ruled by Andromeda's parents, Cepheus and Cassiopeia?
For sure. Ethiopia.
Ethiopia is correct. So that's 20 points on toss-up 6 to Team C. Toss-up 7 for any player. What English derivative of the Latin verb traho trahere is an operation in mathematics used?
B1.
Subtract.
Subtract is correct. Used for taking one number away from another number. Bonus number 1 for Team B. What Latin verb is the ultimate root of addition? Need an answer, please?
Addition.
Can you take that back? I'm sorry, that's not correct. We were looking for dough.
Oh, John's alright. Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Oh, that makes sense.
And bonus number 2. What English word for an operation in mathematics is derived from a Latin verb meaning to fold?
Division.
I'm sorry, that's not correct. We were looking for multiplication.
Oh.
And that comes from I think it's like a already, which can mean which is division. Might be. Well, there's two different. I don't know. Yeah. Multiplication is what we're looking for there, but that's still 10 wonderful glorious points to Team B on toss-up number 7. Toss-up 8 for any player. Following the death of Alexander Severus in 235 AD, what man from the Balkans, who once
C3.
Maximus Thrax is correct, who once wrestled 7 Roman soldiers in a row, took the throne and kicked off the period of the Barracks emperors for the next 50 years. Bonus number 1 for Team C. If Maximus Thrax was Rome's largest emperor, his rival was perhaps its very oldest. Name this senator from Africa who briefly ruled jointly with his son of the same name in 238 AD.
Gordian the First.
Gordian the First is correct. And bonus 2. What 13-year-old emperor survived the year 238 AD to rule for 6 years, supported by his praetorian prefect Timesitheus?
Gordian the Third.
Gordian the Third is correct. So that's 20 points on toss-up 8 to Team C. Toss-up 9 for any player. Which of the following words does not belong due to meaning? Aqua, soxum, lock,
C2.
Soxum.
Soxum is correct. The rest of the words were oleum and vino. Bonus number 1 for Team C. You could make a good comparison between this type of question and the New York Times minigame Connections. What category do the rest of the words from the toss-up fit under?
Can you repeat the toss-up?
Which of the following words does not belong due to meaning? Aqua, soxum, lock, oleum, vino.
Yeah. Liquids.
Liquids is correct. And bonus 2. If the category to tie the following words together were verbs to describe fire, what is a Latin word you could add to go with ardeo, kaleo, and uro?
Just keep them. Flameo. I know these all have noun forms. Anything else?
Could you repeat the other words?
Ardeo, kaleo, uro. And I need an answer.
Flameo.
I do not have flameo on my page. I do have flamo, but I'm gonna have Emma look up flameo really quick to see if that works. But for right now, we're gonna say no for that one. But that's 15 points on toss-up 9 to Team C. Toss-up, can we include Michelle, please? Thank you. Toss-up 10 for any player. Identify the use of the ablative case in the following Latin sentence. Caesare inter.
C2.
Absolute.
Absolute is correct. Bonus number 1 for Team C. Identify the use of the ablative case in the following sentence. Senatores rem magna cum cura augere temptavere.
Could you repeat?
Identify the use of the ablative case in the following sentence. Senatores rem magna cum cura augere temptavere.
Manner?
Manner is correct, and bonus 2. Identify the use of the ablative case in the following sentence. Calpurnia dolore lacrimare coepit.
Can you repeat?
Identify the use of the ablative case in the following sentence. Calpurnia dolore lacrimare coepit.
Begin. Wait.
Need an answer, please?
Description?
That's not what I have on my page. We'll write it down and we'll probably talk about that later, but right now I'm not going to give you points for it. We have cause or manner. So like she was crying because of her pain, or she was crying,
Yeah. We'd like to see that if you could.
Yeah, we'll write that down and talk about that. But for now, that's going to be 15 points. Toss up 10 to Team C, and after 10, let's hear our score.
So everybody's on the board, okay? Team A with 55, Team B with 10, and Team C with 85, with 10 points standing.
It's looking my luck.
And I have the same score, so far.
Okay, so would you have a ruling on Palmeo? We're not going to accept that. And we'll move on to toss up 11 for any player. Which aunt of Actaeon and Orpheus, misled by a goddess disguised as her nurse?
C1.
Semele?
Semele is correct. The rest of the question demanded that her lover Zeus appear to her as he routinely appeared to his own wife, which led to her incineration and the strange birth of the god Dionysus. Bonus 1 for Team C. Which of her sisters was the mother of Pentheus?
Everyone's good with agave?
Agave is correct. And bonus 2. Which of her sisters was the mother of Actaeon?
That's not right. Autonomy. Wait, you pronounce it.
Autonoe is correct. So that's 20 points on toss-up 11 to Team C. Toss-up 12 for any player. Using the noun luna and the adjective tertius, say in Latin, on the third.
C2.
Tertia luna.
Tertia luna is correct. On the third moon with the rest of the phrase. Bonus 1 for Team C. Using the Latin noun stella and the adjective ambo, translate the prepositional phrase from both stars into Latin.
Dual case mentioned. Okay, so it's from both stars. From is it's gonna be ablative, right? So Stella, Stellis, and then Ombo is gonna be
Need an answer, please?
Stellis Bobbus.
Stellis ambabus is correct. And bonus 2. Using the noun nubes and the adjective parvus, translate the prepositional phrase through a small cloud into Latin.
Through a small cloud. Nubes is what gender is it feminine? Probably not. So Nuben, right?
Need an answer?
Nuben Parwan.
I am not going to take that. We needed a pair. To get the through part of the through small cloud. Yeah.
Okay. I just thought whatever.
Yeah. So that's what we have for now.
It gave the two words, which threw me off. It gave two words and then it expected a third. That threw me off. But
I hear you. We'll write that down. But I have a question.
Yes. For the first bonus, did you also need a preposition?
Did not need a preposition for the first one.
What's the reason?
Because there is an ablative use without a preposition where you have from.
Does hair take the accusative?
Hair does take the accusative. It also sometimes.
Sorry, I'm just old and I didn't hear what happened on that second bonus.
The second bonus, we needed to translate the phrase through a small cloud, and we got the answer Nuben Parwam,
Okay.
and we needed
Thanks.
hair.
And you also could have done it using Armor. Oh, you want to do hair.
Okay, so that is, and I've just written it down so that we.
Yeah, I'm not expecting that to go through, but.
We'll count that as 15 points on toss-up 12 for Team C. Toss-up 13 for any player. Which of the following ancient locations lay farthest north? Tarentum, Beneventum, Agrigentum, Mediolanum.
A1.
Mediolanum.
Let's go, Josh. Come on.
Bonus number 1 for Team A. Which of the following ancient locations lay farthest south? Ravenna, Capua, Tiber, Ticinus River.
I think it's Capua.
Okay.
Capua.
Capua is correct. And bonus 2. Which of the following ancient locations lay farthest west? Drepana, Olisipo, Lutetia, Gades.
Gabes.
I'm sorry, that's not correct. We're looking for Olisipo. So that's 15 points on toss-up 13 to Team A. Toss-up 14 for any player. The 45th anniversary of Kylie Minogue's career was marked with the release of her album Tension last year. From what Latin?
C2.
I'm sorry, that's not correct.
A3.
Need an answer?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Team.
I'm sorry, that's not correct.
Team B is not better.
All right, we'll finish for Team B. The 45th anniversary of Kylie Minogue's career was marked with the release of her album Tension last year. From what Latin verb with what meaning is tension derived? The 45th anniversary of Kylie Minogue's career was marked with the release of her album Tension last year. From what Latin verb with what meaning is tension derived?
B1.
Trago, trahere, drag, or pull.
I'm sorry, that's not correct. We were looking for tendo to stretch. Also, just make sure that while other teams are still in play for a toss-up, that you. Thank you. So that's unfortunately no points on toss-up 14, but that's all right because we move right along to toss-up number 15 for any player. In Book 21 of Homer's Iliad, which god, sent by Hera, saves Achilles?
C1.
Need an answer, please?
Apollo.
I'm sorry, Apollo is not correct.
A2.
Athena.
I'm sorry, Athena is not correct.
Team B is not better.
All right, we'll finish for Team B. In Book 21 of Homer's Iliad, which god, sent by Hera, saves Achilles from the enraged Scamander with great blasts of flame?
B3.
Ares.
I'm sorry, Ares is not correct. We were looking for Hephaestus. So that's no points on toss-up 15, and after 15...
Alright, so I currently have Team A at 70 points, Team B at 10 points, and Team C at 120 points.
Five toss-ups left. Let's get settled quickly.
I just wanted to say for the reading of
Number 12, 13, the one with the, sorry. 12 is the one with the,
Okay,
13 was the,
For bonus 1, did it say prepositional phrase?
yes,
In bonus 1?
prepositional phrase, English prepositional phrase, which can be rendered into Latin.
Did it say English prepositional
It
phrase?
just says prepositional phrase, but that is the prepositional phrase, which is in English, and then you can translate that into Latin.
And wait, can you repeat what the question?
So the question was, using the Latin noun stella and the adjective ambo, translate the prepositional phrase from both stars into Latin.
Oh, I see.
And you can get the from sense without a preposition in Latin.
Oh, I see. If you were to use a preposition, could you
or all? On the
I do love
Because guys, you're gonna have moving verb anywhere. You can either move from or to,
Yeah.
you know. But pair cannot be like, you know.
Right, feeling good? Yeah. All right. Toss-up number 16 for any player. A Roman altar from the 1st century AD bears the inscription T.I.
A2.
Augustus?
I'm sorry, that's not correct.
No other votes.
I will finish for the remaining teams. A Roman altar from the 1st century AD bears the inscription T.I. Claudius Felix. What is the pronomen of the individual named?
C2.
Titus.
I'm sorry, Titus is not correct.
Team B is not voted.
I'll repeat.
B4. Claudius.
I'm sorry, Claudius is not correct. We were looking for Tiberius. And unfortunately, that was our visual toss-up. It happens, it's okay. We'll move right on to toss-up number 17 for any player. When a student successfully completes medical school and receives their degree, they are officially able to claim the title
C2.
PhD, meaning Philosophiae Doctorae.
I'm sorry, that's not correct.
A3.
MD meaning Medicina Doctor.
Medicina Doctor.
Yeah, let's go.
Nice.
Officially able to claim the title M period D period. For what Latin phrase with what English meaning is N? Oh, that's it.
Doctor of
I messed
medicine.
that up.
I said Medicina Doctor, like
Yes.
doctor of medicine.
I hear ya.
We also need an English.
Did it say that?
Yes, but
She was not,
I should do
on
more.
the, yeah.
I think.
I said MD.
Yeah, so I hear ya.
That's not on you guys.
No, that's all right. I should have prompted you for the English. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna find an extra question and then we'll come back to that and we will do an extra toss-up at the score check at 19, just for teams A and B, because C was already disqualified from that question. And then, should one team get that right, we'll read the bony from this question as that. Thank you.
Okay.
Great.
Awesome, thank you. So for now, we'll just move right on to toss-up 18 for any player. Given the strict rules of Greek hospitality, who was sent with a sealed letter written by King
A2.
Bellerophon.
Bellerophon is correct.
Let's go.
Sent by King Proteus or Procoetus to the court of King Iobates, a letter that instructed Iobates to kill his pharaoh. Bonus one for Team A. What personal stake did King Iobates have in the alleged crime committed by Bellerophon at the court of King Proteus?
The king's. Oh wait. Repeat the toss-up.
Given the strict rules of Greek hospitality, who was sent with a sealed letter written by King Proetus to the court of King Iobates, a letter that instructed Iobates to kill its pharaohs?
Iobates was the sister.
Oh, yes.
Yes. Iobates was the sister of the wife of the first King Proetus. And Bellerophon was alleged to have sexually assaulted the wife of the first king.
Okay, wait, one more time.
The second king was the brother-in-law of the first king.
Okay,
Is that enough?
Can you tell me which king is the second?
Iobates was the brother-in-law of Pro something.
Okay, and so whose wife and whose?
And the first king who was trying to kill Bellerophon's wife had been allegedly sexually assaulted by Bellerophon.
Okay. Yes. Thank you for sticking with me tonight. It was a lot of confusion.
Yeah.
And bonus 2. Which daughter of Iobates did Bellerophon eventually marry?
Can you repeat the question?
Which daughter of Iobates did Bellerophon, and you answer please?
Daniel.
I'm sorry, that's not correct. I could have taken Philonoe, Cassandra, or Anticlea. So that's 15 points. On toss-up, 18 to Team A.
Alright.
Toss-up, 19 for any player. After what disastrous defeat were the armies of Titus Veturius Calvinus and Spurius Postumius seized?
Counting forks.
Counting forks is correct. First in the question, Spurius Postumius Calvinus forced the pass under the yoke in 321 BC. Bonus 1 for Team C. What Samnite commander defeated the Romans at this battle?
Designate.
That's correct. And bonus 2. Due to a dispute about Sabine tribes and an appeal for Roman help, what city near Pompeii served as the casus belli in the Second Samnite War?
Papua?
I'm sorry, that's not correct. We're looking for the score now. Let's see. So we're at the score check. Yes, we're gonna do that before. Okay. All right, so now we're gonna read a replacement toss-up 17, only for teams A and B. Toss-up. Give the Latin words for which the chemical symbols Fe, Ag, and Au.
A3.
Fe, ferro meaning iron, Ag, argento meaning silver, and then Au, aurum meaning gold.
That's correct. All right, cool. And then now we're going to go back and read the original movie. So just for a quick reminder of the toss-up, the question was, when a student successfully completes medical school and receives their degree, they are officially able to claim the title M period D period. For what Latin phrase with what English meaning does M period D period stand? That was Medicinae Doctor, Doctor of Medicine. Bonus number 1 for Team A. Some students may choose to pursue a PH period D period. For what Latin phrase with what English meaning does PH period D period stand?
Doctor of philosophy. Philosophia, doctor meaning doctor of philosophy.
Philosophiae Doctor meaning Doctor of Philosophy is correct.
Oh yeah.
And bonus 2. Some students may choose to attend law school and pursue a J period D period. For what Latin phrase with what English meaning does J period D period stand?
Juris Doctor.
Doctor of law.
Juris Doctor meaning doctor of law.
That's correct.
Let's go.
So that's 20 points on top of 17 to Team A, and after 19 toss-ups.
So looks on my card like Team B, you can get 10 points, and we have tie between A and C with 120.
I have 125, 135.
anybody have any outstanding challenges from the first 19 toss-ups?
And we're gonna check on the description from Haslam.
All right, sorry for this little thing, 105, 10, and 135.
Yes.
The answer line for bonus 2 of toss-up.
Toss-up for 1, bonus 2, we have Prinomen and Nomen taken from Dominus Father. And then in parentheses, Cognomen still in play first.
Okay, that's, thank you.
Cool. Good. Wonderful. In that case, we'll go to toss-up 20 for any player. Describamos nunc proprietates dictionum in hoc sententia. Pater filiis filiabusque cibum parabat. Quo casu?
C2.
Operativa.
I'm sorry, that's not correct.
So redeem it, but
I'll finish for the remaining keys. Describamos nunc proprietates dictionum in hoc sententia. Pater filiis filiabusque cibum parabat. Quo casu est cibum?
A3.
Accusativo.
Let's go. Okay.
Nice.
Bonus
Round.
number 1 for Team A. Quo casu est filiis in illa sententia?
Lativo.
One more time?
Lativo.
Yes. Quo casu est pater?
Could you repeat the sentence?
Pater filiis filiabusque cibum parabat.
Nominativo? Oh, yeah, nominativo. Yeah. Nominativo.
Nominativo. So that's 20 points on toss-up 20 to Team A. And after the round,
Now we have 10 points and we tie with 135. No?
125.
I think-
35.
No? I'm still.
I think this, we should have 140 and they should have 135, because at the last score check, we had 120, they had 130.
105.
We corrected
Oh,
that to
okay.
105.
Okay.
They
So
threw
plus-
it at 20.
Oh,
I
I
see.
wanna generously grant them 30
Oh,
points.
thank
Thank
you.
you. 1 second.
All
I'm
right.
kidding. I'm kidding.
All right.
I'm kidding. All right, yeah, guys, 125, 10, 135.
So to be clear again, 125, 10, 135. Applause.
was that fun? I certainly did. So that we can get going as soon as we can. So if everybody will please take a seat, that would be great. Thank you very much. All right.
I'm not happy.
So players, go ahead and make sure that you're paying attention to when we're going to start saying important things. Okay. Very first thing, can I see name tags from all players? Name tags. Name tags. Can I see all the name tags? Okay, y'all have name tags? All right. Okay. So what we're going to do, well, first off, hello. Thank you for being here. My name is Will. I hope that y'all are all having a great day. I'm going to have a great Katana round. It's going to be a lot of fun. But first, we're going to get through this checklist, pre-game checklist, and then we'll get started with our round. So, first thing we're going to do is we're going to do a buzzer check. So can I get all the ones to buzz in? C1, C2 buzz in, C2. All the twos? All the threes? All the fours? Only one four, that's wonderful. All right, thank you for doing that. Players, please remember to wait until your buzzer letter number is called out before you answer a toss-up. You don't want to have to disqualify any teams because they didn't swing out a turn, because that would be sad. So please just make sure that you're being aware of that. I know you guys know what you're doing in that department. Audience, please make sure, and also players, that you turn off all cell phones, smartwatches, computers, iPads, anything that can make noise and disrupt, so that we have a nice, clean round without any disruptions. Audience, also make sure that you are quiet for the duration of the match, except with the score checks after 5, 10, 15, and 19 toss-ups. Then you can cheer for your favorite and your not favorite teams. You can cheer for okay. Players, make sure you don't do anything that could be construed as consultation. That could be anything as big as turning to your teammate, looking them straight in the eyes and saying, you need to answer this question. And it could be as small as kind of giving them the side eye or shoulder wiggle. Just make sure you're not communicating with your other team members during the process. Of course, during bonus questions, we welcome it. It would be welcome. Coaches, make sure you're not doing anything that could be construed as consultation as well. That includes tapping on the table, yelling to your team, sign language, any of that. Just make sure that we're not trying to communicate with the players during the round. Likewise, there should be no exclamations about consultation or challenges in the middle of a question. You can bring that up after a question or a score check, but during a question while I'm reading or a team is answering, let's keep that at a minimum. Let's see. Just a reminder that moderators, that is me, have discretion to make decisions during the rounds. And if there's an issue, you can tell me about it and we'll try to fix it here. You can also tell the Certamen chair, Jenny Luongo. She's wonderful. She will help you out. Okay, I'm going to read the Aurelia passage and then we'll get started. Aurelia, cui urbs placebat, erat in Aegypto cum familia sua calida ingenti et ecto. Tridecim ludos magnos iogus in amphitheatro Alexandriae spectabat. Tandem, hic equus irratissimus, domum recurre quid. Abu! Aurelia Anglicae dixit. You can read about the year 312 AD in history books, but can you tell us what the abbreviation OP period, CIT period means? Any questions about how I'm going to pronounce things? Everybody can hear me okay? Wonderful. Can I get the captain of each team to raise their hand? Captain? Cool, just so I know who I'm looking at. Does anybody have any more questions before we start? Okay, wonderful. Thank you very much for being here. If you have any problems that come up during the round, feel free to tell me, and we'll adjust. Cool. In that case, we'll go ahead and get started with a content warning. The study of the humanities often challenges us as we examine the full range of the human experience. This Certamen round contains mention of violence, including cannibalism. As always, take care of yourselves and reach out to your chaperones and sponsors if you need to or want to talk about the content. All right. 2024 NJCL Certamen Advanced Division Round 1. Toss-up 1 for any player. What Greek god? Nope. We're supposed to be reading around here. Thank you for being patient. New content warning. This Certamen round contains mention of violence. Everything else is the same. Oh yes. This is important. This is important. Do we have any of Maryland Gold, Maryland Purple, Wildcard Alpha, or Washington, D.C. in this room?
Maryland Purple.
Okay, cool. Maryland Purple, we're going to read you 2 bonus questions from a toss-up from yesterday that we adjudicated to give you more points. So we're going to read these 2. If you get them right, you'll get even more points.
Thank you so
And then
much.
go. Sorry about that. I'll record that. Okay. Bonus number 1. Which of the following, if any, is an antonym for planus? Inanis, totus, sinister, ulus.
Planus was the first one. What was that?
answer?
Toast.
I'm sorry, totus is not correct. We're looking for anonymous. And bonus 2. Which of the following, if any, is an antonym for utilis? Superbus, nueus, immanis, modidus.
Could you repeat the words?
Superbus, nueus, immanis, modidus. Need an answer, please? I'm sorry, that's not correct. That's that pesky if any, so there's none.
I'm sorry, what did you
There's none of them weren't. So the little if any in there, right?
say? Oh.
Yeah. So none of them were an antonym for utilis. So that's neither of those are correct. So your score will stick where it is for now. But that. All right. The round 2 begins below. So now we're gonna really start. Thank you for sticking. Toss up number 1 for any player. Marveling at a certain sepulchre, you see the letters R period, I period, P period.
B3.
Requiescat in pace is correct. For what 3 Latin words do these letters stand? Was the rest of the question. Notice number 1 for team B. Responde Latine. Medicus tibi remedium aegritudinis dat, et inscribit litteras B punctum E punctum D punctum. Quotiens remedium consumere debes.
Can you repeat, please?
Responde Latine. Medicus tibi remedium aegritudinis dat, et inscribit litteras B punctum E punctum D punctum. Quotiens, need an answer, please. Bis in die is correct. And bonus 2. Responde Latine. Advocatus te consulit de lite recenti et dicit. Non vincere potes et poenas dabis. Quid avocatus pro judice dicit.
Can you repeat, please?
Responde Latine. Advocatus te consulit de lite recenti et dicit. Non vincere potes et poenas dabis. Quid avocatus pro judice dicit. And I need an answer. I'm going to call.
It won't cure you, but it'll give you a punishment.
I'm sorry, I can't take that. So what we were asking for was, what is the lawyer going to say to the judge? And that would be nolo contendere. A little bit of a roundabout way, but yeah, basically, yeah, the lawyer's telling the client, you're not going to win, you're going to be punished. Goes and tells the judge. But that's still 15 points on toss-up 1 to team B. Toss-up 2 for any player. Objects like a rope, 3 coins, a little.
B2.
Platus is correct. A little casket and a pot of gold give modern titles to what author's plays. Also include one named after a braggart soldier. Bonus 1 for team B. What play of Plautus has a title literally meaning the ghost?
Repeat, please.
What play of Plautus has a title literally meaning the ghost? Need an answer, please?
Phasma?
I will check on that. What we have on the page is Mostalaria. So I will check on Phasma. And bonus number 2. So for now, I'm not going to think of it. Bonus 2. What play of Plautus has a title literally meaning the little satchel?
Can you repeat, please?
What play of Plautus has a title literally meaning the little satchel? Need an answer, please.
Paulularia?
I'm sorry, that's not correct. We were looking for Widularia. So Alularia, a little pot of gold. Widularia, what's that? So that's 10 points on toss-up 2 to Team B. Toss-up 3 for any player. What meaning is communicated by the Latin adjectival suffix osus?
B3.
Full of.
Full of is correct. Rest of the question, which is commonly attached to noun. Bonus 1 for Team B. What is communicated by the Latin suffix ensis?
Belonging to, like, belonging to or having, or affiliation. Like affiliation.
Can you give me a little more
What
information?
did you say? Belonging to, like belonging to or having attributes of.
I'm going to take that. What I have on the page is belonging to a location, but I think
Sometimes it's more.
yeah. So I'm going to just write that down real quick. Affiliation with- Okay, so I'm going to take that for now. We'll check on that later and see if there's any better than a problem, but I'm going to take it. In bonus 2, what is communicated by the addition of the suffix ides to a name?
What is communicating? Ancestry. Like that person is the descendant.
Yeah, I'll take that for sure. Yeah. I have descent, relationship, potential. Yeah, ancestry is great. So that's 20 points on toss-up 3 to Team B. Toss-up 4 for any player. Which of the following people was not transformed into an animal, according to Ovid's Metamorphoses? Alcyone, Callisto, Actaeon, Philemon.
B2.
Philemon is correct. Bonus number 1 for Team B. Of the people listed in the toss-up, Alcyone, Callisto, Actaeon, and Philemon, which was transformed into a type of bird? Of the people listed in the toss-up, Alcyone, Callisto, Actaeon, and Philemon, which was transformed into a type of bird? Alcyone is correct. And bonus 2. Whom did Apollo transform into a cypress tree after he could not assuage his grief over killing a pet stag? Whom did Apollo transform into a cypress tree after he could not assuage his grief over killing a pet stag? Cabarissus is correct. So that's 20 points on toss-up 4 to Team B. Toss-up 5 for any player. Continuing the Severan dynasty's tradition of powerful empresses, what 2 women, the mother and grandmother of Alexander VII,
B2.
Julia Maisa and Julia Mamaya.
that's correct, mother and grandmother of Alexander Severus, began his reign with a joint regency in 222 AD. Bonus 1 for Team B. What praetorian prefect and notable jurist served as Julia Mamaea's right-hand man in the early part of Severus's emperorship, though he was assassinated around 224 AD?
Could you repeat, please?
What praetorian prefect and notable jurist served as Julia Mamaea's right-hand man in the early part of Severus's emperorship, though he was assassinated around 224 AD?
Ulpian.
Ulpian is correct. And bonus 2. What noblewoman did Julia Mamaea arrange for Alexander Severus to marry in 225 AD, only to have her exiled to North Africa by 227 AD? What noblewoman did Julia Mamaea arrange for Alexander Severus to marry in 225 AD, only to have her exiled to North Africa by 227 AD? Need an answer, please.
Ibiana Celestia.
Can you say that first word again?
Ibiana Celestia.
I'm sorry. Can you spell that?
Baebiana.
I'm sorry, that's not what I have on my page. I have Celestia Orbiana. But I've written this down and I'll check with that. I'll check with that. And you said Babiana. I'm glad that I checked. Biana. Okay, but for now, that's going to be 15 points on toss-up number 5 to Team B. And after 5 toss-ups, let's hear our score.
All right, I hope I'm good. We have yet to score 80 and yet to score.
No, the same. Applaud.
How does everybody feel? Okay?
It's cold.
It is cold, right? All right. Toss-up number 6 for any player. Who visited Aeneas, Acestes, Helenus?
B2.
Aeneas is correct. And Dido on his journey from Troy to Italy. Bonus number 1 for Team B. On what island did Aeneas meet Acestes and bury his father Anchises?
Sicily.
Sicily is correct. And bonus 2. What prophecy, first given by Callino, did Helenus confirm for Aeneas when he visited him at Buthrotum?
Could it be, please?
What prophecy, first given by Callino, did Helenus confirm for Aeneas when he visited him at Buthrotum? Need an answer, please?
He should go to his motherland, but like, he wouldn't get like an agency.
I am gonna take that. What I have is that he wouldn't be done wandering until he ate his own tables. He wouldn't get to where he was going until he ate his own tables, I think is. And so that is 20 points on toss-up 6 to Team B. Toss-up number 7 for any player. Give the number of elisions found in the following line of Catullus, which I will read as prose. Odi et ama, quare id facilam fortasse requiris.
C1.
1.
I'm sorry, 1 is not correct.
B3. 2.
2 is correct. All right, and this is our visual. So let me give it to you. Yeah. All right, you now have 5 seconds to inspect your visual. Bonus. Here you see 6 lines from different poems of Catullus. Line A is written in dactylic hexameter. What is the scansion of the first 4 feet of line A? Need an answer, please?
Spondy, dactyl, spondy.
I'm sorry, that's not correct. You're looking for spondy. I believe that there's like an elision in there that really probably is. And the bonus number 2. Of the remaining lines, give the letter of the line written in hendecasyllabic. please?
C.
I'm sorry, C is not correct. We were looking for D. But you can go ahead and show everybody the visual. And that's 10 points on toss-up number 7 to Team B. Toss-up number 8 for any player. Listen carefully to the following passage about Certamen, which I will read twice. Then responde latine to the questions that follow. In eodem Certamen, quatuor discipuli bonum audiebat, surgite omnes, salite in loco, et facite sonum asinorum. Cum Certamenatores respondissent, et rursus concedissent, moderator vultu severo retulit. Minime audivi clarissime tres asinos unumque equum. And I'll repeat. In eodem Certamen, quatuor discipuli bonum audiebat, surgite omnes, salite in loco, et facite sonum asinorum. Cum Certamenatores respondissent, et rursus concedissent, moderator vultu severo retulit. Minime audivi clarissime tres asinos unumque equum. And the question. Qualis erat vultus?
B3.
Severus is correct. The rest of the question. Vultus moderatoris cum responderent. Bonus 1 for Team B. The passage continues. Unus ex discipulis gemuit, sed non ruri habito, nescio omnino quomodo asinus sonet. The question. Cur nesciebat discipulus quomodo asinus sonarent. Oh, sorry, yes. Passage continues, unus ex discipulus gemuit, sed non ruri habito, nescio omnino quomodo asinus sonet. And I need an answer. Non ruri habitat is correct. And bonus 2. Noc recte respondete bono moderatoris. Surgite omnes, salite in loco, et facite sonum asinorum.
It's like a grading. Red. Can you repeat, please, Daniel?
Nunc recte respondete bono moderatoris. Surgite omnes, salite in loco, et facite sonum asinorum. You need an answer.
3, 2, 1.
That's correct. So that's 20 points on toss-up number 8 to Team B. Toss-up 9 for any player. What short-tempered emperor married Nero's widow Statilia Messalina, had previously married another wife of Nero, Poppaea Sabina?
B2.
Otho is correct. Poppaea Sabina, and succeeded Galba to the throne. Bonus 1 for Team B. What brother of Vespasian had been made prefect of Rome by Otho, and was responsible for besieging Vitellius in the capital? Flavius Sabinus is correct. And bonus 2. What future emperor disguised himself as a priest of Isis and escaped Rome before Vespasian's troops could arrive to finally defeat Vitellius? The mission is correct. So that's 20 points on toss-up 9 to Team B. Toss-up 10 for any player. Give a Latin synonym for carbon.
B3.
Poema is correct. Bonus number 1. Bonus number 1 for Team B. Give a Latin synonym for consuesco. Soleo is correct. And bonus 2. Give a Latin antonym for durus. Molus is correct. So that's 20 points on toss of 10 for Team B. And after 10, let's hear our score.
Well, Team A is yet to score, but it's only halfway. Team B, 170 points, and Team C, we're gonna do it, right? We're gonna do it.
Perfectly
So
set the
far.
trap.
Is there anything I can do differently for anyone or rank? Cool. In that case, we'll move along to toss-up number 11 for any player. What author's phrase in Tenui Labor describes the toil of his poetry?
C1.
I'm sorry, Horace is not correct.
B2.
Virgil is correct. The rest of the question, the toil of his poetry and of bees, which appear with Aristaeus in the 4th book of his didactic work on agriculture, Georgics. Bonus 1 for Team B. The 2 other main characters of book 4 of the Georgics are what tragic couple? Orpheus and Eurydice is correct. And bonus 2. Among the other events of the Georgics is what sort of occurrence at Noricum? Among the other events of the Georgics is what sort of occurrence at Noricum?
Plague.
It is a plague, specifically an animal plague. And so that's 20 points on bonus, nope, toss-up 11 to Team B. Toss-up 12 for any player. Say in Latin using curro. Let's run to the forum.
B3.
Ad forum curriculus cross.
I'm sorry, that's not correct.
No, they're human foes.
All right, then we'll finish with the remaining two. Say in Latin using curro. Let's run to the forum today.
C1.
I'm sorry, I'm not going to take
A1.
Hodie ad forum curemus?
that. I'm sorry, that's not correct. Can you spell the last word you said?
Can I repeat it? And
Yeah.
then tell me what the last word is? Okay.
Okay, so I am not going to be able to take that because
Oh, okay.
I'm in
Yeah, yeah.
forum. And not in
Oh,
forum.
okay. Thank
But
you.
right there. So that's no points to any team on toss-up 12. Toss-up 13 for any player. What Greek hero was claimed by multiple regions and given many possible fathers?
B2.
Atalanta is correct, such as Iossus and Scoinius. Nevertheless, most versions say that she was suckled by a she-bear at birth. Bonus 1 for Team B. Into what animals were Atalanta and her lover Hippomenes transformed?
Lions.
Lions is correct. And bonus 2. According to Ovid, what goddess transformed them out of anger that they made love in her temple?
Repeat, please.
According to Ovid, what goddess transformed them out of anger that they made love in her temple?
Venus.
I am sorry, that's not correct. We're looking for Cybele. So that's 15 points on toss-up 13 to Team B. Toss-up 14 for any player. Accompanied by a mercenary army of 20,000 infantry, 2,000 archers, 500 slingers, 3,000 cavalry, and 20 war elephants, what king set sail for Italy in 280
B2.
Pyrrhus is correct, in 280 BC, and fought the Romans in a war where he won several battles but endured heavy losses. Bonus 1 for Team B. Under the command of Curius Dentatus, where did the Romans effectively end the war with Pyrrhus in 275 BC?
Beneventum.
Beneventum is correct. And bonus 2. Following the Battle of Heraclea in 280 BC, Pyrrhus actually tried to march on Rome herself, but was stopped 40 miles away by Rome's Latin allies at what town? Following the Battle of Heraclea in 280 BC, Pyrrhus actually tried to march on Rome herself, but was stopped 40 miles away. Need an answer, please? Praeneste is correct. So that's 20 points on toss-up 14 to Team B. Toss-up 15 for any player. For the verb patior, give the second person singular, future indicative.
B3.
I'm sorry, that's not correct.
So the team is both.
I'll finish for the remaining teams. For the verb patior, give the second person singular, future indicative form, which means you will endure. For the verb patior, give the second person singular, future indicative form, which means you will endure.
A1.
Patieris.
Patieris is correct. Bonus number 1 for Team A. Now, keeping everything else the same, change patieris to the imperfect subjunctive form, which means you would be endured. Need an answer?
Patieris.
I am sorry. Not take that. I could have taken patereris or paterere. And bonus 2. Now give the imperative form of the same verb needed to tell one person, endure.
Pati.
I'm sorry, that's not correct. We need patere. So that's 10 points on toss-up 15 to Team A, and after 15,
All right, the score is starting to look better with Team A joining us with 10 points, Team B with 225, and Team C we still have 100 points on one. Okay.
That's it for Sofa.
I have 5 toss-ups left. Toss-up 16 for any player. First codified in law in 180 BC, and further refined by 80 BC. What system required a candidate for office to do 10 years of military service before progressing through a specific order of
A1.
Cursus Honorum.
the cursus honorum is correct. The rest of it, specific order of Roman magistracies with set age requirements and gaps between terms. Bonus 1 for Team A. What did it mean to get elected to a magistracy suo honor? Yeah, I'll take that. Yeah, in the first year, eligible as soon as possible. Seems to make sense to me. And bonus 2. Although it was later renamed consul, what was the chief executive office originally called in the first years of the republic? Need an answer, please? I'm sorry, that's not correct. It was called praetor. So that's 15 points on toss-up 16 to Team A. Toss-up 17 for any player. In the book of the Odyssey, known as the Necuia, where does Odysseus encounter Elpenor?
B2.
The underworld is correct. Elpenor, Anticlea, and Tiresias, all of whom have already died. Bonus 1 for Team B. What request did Elpenor make when he saw Odysseus in the underworld? Proper burial is correct. And bonus 2. What shade refused to speak to Odysseus because of a disagreement they had had at Troy? Ajax Telamon or Big Ajax is correct. So that's 20 points on toss-up 17 to Team B. Toss-up 18 for any player. According to its derivation, what is in the diet of a nucivorous animal, which primarily
B2.
nuts is correct. So the rest of the question, which primarily eats nucase. Bonus 1 for Team B. Worms and other bivalves are considered limnivorous animals. According to its derivation, what do limnivorous animals consume?
Can you spell that?
Limevorous. Need an answer, please. I'm sorry, 6 is not correct. We could have taken mud or dirt. Swamps. In bonus 2, according to its derivation, what is a food source for murdivorous insects?
Can you also spell
Merdivorous. According to its derivation, what is a food source for murdivorous insects? And I need an answer.
mud?
I'm sorry, that's not correct. This is poop. The Latin merida. This is maybe All right, so that's 10 points on toss-up 18 to Team B. Toss-up 19 for any player. What goddess, whose Sicilian Spring Festival frames the poem Periwigilia?
B2.
Venus is correct. Is invoked at the beginning of De Rerum Natura as Aenea Genetrix, or mother of Aeneas' descendants. Bonus 1 for Team B. Venus appears as a character in the tale of Cupid and Psyche that makes up most of books 4 through 6 of what work from the 2nd century AD? That's correct. And bonus 2. Venus also appears as a primary character in the 3rd book of what work, which Pliny said its author wrote with greater care than genius. Venus also appears as a primary character in the 3rd book of what work, which Pliny said its author wrote with greater care than genius. Need an answer, please? The Punica, yes, Silius Italicus Punica is correct. So that's 20 points on toss-up 19 to Team B, and after 19, let's have our
It seems like we have Team A with 25 points, Team B with 270. And last chance, guys, you can do it.
And I have to say so far, yeah.
What is the meaning of the motto of New York University? I'm sorry, that's not correct. I will finish for the remaining teams. What is the meaning of the motto of New York University? Per stare et praestare. What is the meaning of the motto of New York University? Per stare et praestare.
C1.
Persistence, no.
I am not going to.
Team A is not really.
Alright, I'll finish with Team A. What is the meaning of the motto of New York University? Per stare et praestare.
A3.
Margarine.
I'm sorry, that's not correct. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to read you guys some bonus questions, and we'll see what ends up happening. But since per stare and praestare are both infinitives, we need 2 or 3. But I will bring that up tomorrow morning.
I was sort of taking it as a, I mean, it's not gonna change the case, but I mean, I thought it would be more abstract than two stories.
I hear you. So that's why I'm going to read you these, just in case. We do set many points, but I'm not doing all the points for time. So bonus 1. What is the Latin motto of Dartmouth College, which means the voice of one shouting in the wilderness?
Could you please repeat the question?
What is the Latin motto of Dartmouth College, which means the voice of one shouting in the wilderness? Need an answer, please? And then I call.
Vox in deserto.
I'm sorry, that's not correct. We're close. Vox clamantis in deserto. So you have 3 and 4 words there. And bonus 2. What is the Latin motto of the University of Vermont, which means for virtuous studies and matters?
Could you please repeat the question?
What is the Latin motto of the University of Vermont, which means for virtuous studies and matters? Need an answer, please?
Studies at Rebus.
Real close. Studiis et rebus honestis. So that is provisionally 0, potentially 10 points on toss up 20 for Team C. And at the end of the round, what's your score?
Okay, so Team A stays with 25. Team B has 275. However, I think Mastermind cannot be accepted because it's existing work, so it cannot be. But I don't know if by now it's still on the question, right?
Right, yeah, so we're going to talk about those and
So
figure out what we're
potentially
gonna do,
they
but-
might be 280. Right? Like yeah, okay? And I really hope that this infinitive, and we can end with 10 points. Can we just like agree to give 10 points?
Yeah, promise.
Manifesto.
Coaches, can you like support?
Yes.
Yes.
Well, let's do the big round.
I'm not going to talk about I will hold up as morally as I can.
Sorry, that's scary. For content, for last year, it sounds like. No, you're good.